Hello guys, welcome to the Free Hammers All the Gear No Idea episode 11. Bit unscheduled. I thought, you know what, it's Sunday afternoon, I'm a little bit bored. Let's do something for you guys. Let's have a little chat, catch up like we did last week. It was a lot of fun last week. Yeah, let's get on with it, guys. Let's enjoy it. Hello guys, welcome back to the Free Hammers All the Gear No Idea. The air's getting even longer and more ridiculous. I call it, as Eddie Earn calls it, tactical brushing at the minute to hide what age is not letting me hide anymore. Yeah, I can't wait to have an haircut. I really can't, but I just don't trust my missus, the old shears. So let's see. By September, I think I'll be having like a big ponytail down here, which would be interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's good to be back. Thanks for all the positive stuff last week. Last week was a really good show. We had a good chat. We answered some good questions and, just general chat about stuff rather than just to take us away from what is a very, very strange time that we are still living in. I'd like to start the show, whether they're watching or not. If they're not watching and you guys pass this on to them, Hammers Chat, congratulations on their 1,000th video. It was a brilliant video. I watched it all the way through. And I have to say, I was really touched. I think it's about 49 minutes in. They was asked a question about what content do they like, and what fellow West Ham channels do they have a soft spot for and stuff like that. And both the guys, Gonzo and Gio, said some lovely words about us. Gonzo said that he really thought I was a slick presenter, which is that's a great compliment, because honestly, I watch someone like Gonzo and I've learned a lot from him. I've learned a lot from watching Gonzo. He's the way he talks to you guys. I've learned loads of stuff like that, how to engage with you guys more. And that's what I want. And the comment about we should have more subscribers was really touching. And the stuff that Gio said about, going away and coming back. It's really nice to hear that from a channel that I respect so much. Gonzo and Gio have both been on the podcast twice, and I've got a lot of love and a lot of respect for them. I've had a drink with Gonzo before on the boats. I had a really good drink with Gio on the boats before game. I'd love to know what game that was, but if I still had the season ticket, it was only that my wife started working weekends that I had to sort of sacrifice the season ticket to look after my daughter. I would be down the boats probably every week, and I would love to have built up that rapport, stuff like that with them a bit more. But obviously, life gets in the way. In terms of West Ham, guys, there's rumours that football could be back soon. I just watched Gonzo's video talking about obviously 50 days it's been now without a football match. Long time. And not just football, I'm missing every sport. I'm missing boxing, I'm really missing the boxing. I love boxing. Obviously, today would have been the World Snooker Final. I know, again, it's a Marmite sport, but I absolutely love me snooker. I've been enjoying watching the classic games, watching old Jimmy. Jimmy's such a legend, old Jimmy was. I've really missed it. I'm missing sport, really badly missing sport. If you guys got any questions or you want to join in, a few of us watching now, so drop some questions in and we can discuss. But yeah, so apparently some teams are going back into training. The Dutch league has finished, and there's all these ideas floating around about how we're going to restart the season and stuff like that, in terms of looking more and more likely that it's going to be this sort of quarantine behind closed doors. And there's lots of debate about whether there'll be free-to-air games, and some games will have to cover the Sky packages and BT Sports packages. I'm looking for, the more it's been away, the more I do want it back. Obviously, there was a selfish side of me that wanted it voided purely so West Ham would start. That is the only reason, and obviously the ethical reasons of, football is not above everything else. If the Olympics and stuff like that have been cancelled, and Wimbledon and stuff like that, football, they can't just because they're Premier League and there's more money, have a stance that we will finish, etc., etc. It looks like it is going to finish now behind closed doors. You know, West Ham are going to have to be fit, and they're going to have to be ready. We're going to have to be mentally ready, you know, because it's going to be a very unique situation way these games are going to be played out. And you know, we are still in a dogfight when this restarts, maybe a few weeks time or a month or so's time. So we need to be ready. You know, rumours are that teams will get about sort of 2 weeks sort of training, sort of a pre-season training sort of thing. I don't think there'll be many games in that thing. It'd be more about getting fitness and, you know, getting touches on the ball and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to it. Like I say, I'm looking forward to some football, to watch some football. Obviously, we were getting ready for sort of the end of the season now, the exciting time, the business end of the season now. And, you know, sort of, if this would have been a normal situation, we would have been all getting ready for the Euros and stuff like that, you know. Start, you know, thinking about who's going to get in. Has Rice done enough? Would Rice have got in? So it's nice to be. It'll be nice to have some football to watch again. I have to say, I'm really looking forward to watching the football again. Today we were linked with the Rangers striker Morales or Morales. I can't pronounce it. I've played with him on FIFA. He's quite good on FIFA, and I know a bit about him in terms of his. You know, he loves a red card. He's a bit of a hothead, should we say? We like the hotheads. He's a good goal scorer. An interesting one. Something different to what we've got now in terms of, you know, style of striker. So I'd be quite interested in him if that was to come off. Also linked with their goalkeeper as well, apparently, according to some of the videos that I've watched. But I put a nice tweet out the other day about what his greatest football photo that you've ever seen. I haven't got a picture on me now, but if you go on Freehammer's Twitter, you'll see it. My one personally was the Bobby Moore and Pele swap shirts. For me, that's one of the greatest football photos ever taken. I think it's an absolute, you know, photo of two legends and icons of the game respecting each other after what was a very, very hard game. You know, you got to think how good Pele was then and how good Bobby was, and there was just a real mutual love and respect. A couple of other ones that I really liked. I love the Gascoigne and Vinnie Jones one. I think that's a fantastic photo. As a Euro '96 would come up as well. That's a wonderful photo. That is. If you've got any suggestions for football photo that you've ever seen, guys, obviously put it on that tweet. It's great to see so many good photos. Obviously, you got, you know, we've got our West Ham favourites, you know, with Bobby with lifting the FA Cup, Bobby lifting the World Cup, etc., etc. There was some really, really great photos that come up. Even in my work chat, like it wasn't my idea. I stole the idea from a guy in work. He put in our work group chat like, "What is the greatest football photo?" And there's some of the ones that they come up with, you know, like just for them, sort of Man United fans with a Cantona, and they've got like Tardelli at the World Cup. There's some great photos. David Arthur says, "Hello from Canada. Keep up all you do and stay safe. I am missing football a lot. Last weekend I missed Toronto FC against LA Galaxy. First time to see Chica. Gutted. Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'm sure you're missing football as well out there. You know, it's becoming a big thing out there now. LA Galaxy, obviously, probably the most recognisable, along with probably New York Red Bulls as sides out there. Yes, I hope you're well, mate. I wish there was some special apple juice in there. Mark Thomas linked with Morales. Yes, every winner now, like Wright Phillips. Yeah, we have been linked with him. Interesting stuff. Like I say, hopefully we can do something. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully something can happen there. What do you guys make of this Newcastle takeover? It's dragging on now, isn't it? It's dragging on a bit now, I have to say. More and more it goes on, the more and more for me it might not go through. You know, there seems to be a lot of people that don't want this as much as there's people that want it. There's a lot of people that don't want it, which is very. I'd like to see it happen. You know, Newcastle are a bit like us as a club. You know, they've been through some really hard times and some bad ownership. So yeah, interesting to see what happens there. I'm just looking if there's some other stuff here on in terms of West Ham news. So another player we're linked with is obviously Martin Braithwaite as well, the guy who went to Barcelona. If any of you guys haven't seen his Barcelona welcome videos, really, really bad. Obviously, when Barcelona usually sign a player, like a Neymar or a Ronaldinho, someone like that, there's guys that can do like 700 kick-ups, put it around their neck 10 times, get up in the air with snow on it and bring it down on their left toe. But this guy couldn't do no kick-ups or anything like that. So be more of a realistic West Ham target, the Martin Braithwaite one. Other things, obviously, Haller saying that he's not happy to play behind closed doors. John McGinn linked with a shock move to West Ham. I can't see that. He's very highly rated, isn't he? But yes, very quiet. Very, very quiet. Obviously, continuous stuff about Balbuena and Anderson being linked away from the club. It's got to be interesting, when it happens, because Gonzo again got some great videos in terms of where the transfer market's going to go. We're not going to get big prices, which means clubs probably are not going to sell as easily as they did unless they really need the money. I don't think West Ham need the money. So if someone was to come in ridiculous offer for Rice, for example, say, and when I say ridiculous, I mean ridiculously bad, like a £40 million offer, we don't need to accept that. And then that's where you hope to keep hold of your players, but then, like I say, we probably will have to sell some, buy some. It's a very strange way it's going to play out. For maybe a year or two, we might see the effects of this. I mean, it must be frustrating being Magpie now. Chance to get rid of Ashley and let them dodgies go. McGinn would be a superb signing. Can't see it happening. Yeah, I said that down. I can't see that happening. He's a very, very good player, though. Technically very good passer. Would be a really nice signing for us, wouldn't it? I'm waiting to see whether Neil from Australia is in. Might be a bit weird. Might be a weird time of the day. Any questions or any news that you guys have seen? Obviously, kits as well. Obviously, we usually start seeing the kits within the next sort of 6 weeks, don't we? About June time, we start seeing the new kits. And obviously, it's an important kit this year, isn't it? Obviously, the 2021 season will be the 125th anniversary, I believe. Is it 125th? 1995. Yeah, 125 years of West Ham. So, we all remember the 95, 96 kit. That's one of the first kits I ever owned, actually, the Bubbles kit, the centenary year one. So, yeah, in theory, there should be quite a nice commemorative kit this year coming out to, celebrate 125 years of West Ham United. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the new kit, actually, seeing what they've done, see what ideas they've come up with. So, yeah, I say there's quite a few things that are going to go on. I just hope we stay up, guys. Again, as it goes on and the ideas come out, I asked this question to you guys. Answer in the comments if you're not watching live. You believe we will stay up? Do you, as the longer it goes on, you think West Ham players will have the mindset when they come back to stay up? The fitness and things like that. Apparently, Jack Wilshere is fit. Will we see some of him? Could Jack coming in, for these games that are left or whatever it is, could he be a big difference if he was fit for those last 8 games? Could it be a huge, huge thing that help us, if he was to stay fit? No one can deny Jack Wilshere on his day when he's fit is a fantastic footballer. Obviously, we haven't seen it yet. Sod the kits, more worried about the badge will be on the sleeve. Yeah, that as well, mate. What badge will be on the sleeve, what sponsors, etc. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. When do you guys realistically think we will be in a stadium as well? Like, again, I've watched West Ham Fan TV, Hammers Chat. I can't see us being back into a football stadium until I don't know, maybe after Christmas, if not longer, maybe a whole year of behind closed doors potentially. And I'm not scaremongering. I'm not trying to, I'm not into, scaremongering or theories and stuff like that. But when do you realistically see, 50,000 people being allowed back into a football stadium to watch it? Like it's such a huge number of people. And that's just fans, that's not the staff, the players, the security, the old bill, all the food stands and stuff like that. Like it's unthinkable to know when that will be. Mark Ring reckons 2 years. Can you imagine 2 years of, it as a footballer as well, not being able to play in front of fans? Everyone plays football for the love of football. Like we've all played football in front of no fans, over the park with our mates and that. But for a professional footballer, most of their lives, even at youth level, they would have played at sort of a reasonable sized crowd. So it must be really weird for them, to play behind closed doors. And I don't know whether any of you guys have ever seen a behind closed doors game on TV. It's really surreal, There's no cheering. There's no moaning when there's a controversial decision from the referee and stuff like that. And whatever's said, we can't directly affect what happens on the pitch, but we definitely have a massive influence, on getting the players a bit more up for it, getting on their back when they're not putting the shift in, getting on the referee's back. When they've done a dodgy decision, for example, a referee, for the ref, they end up, it's a classic line, isn't it? The ref will be looking to even it up. Would they be looking to even it up, without that crowd pressure there? You'll be able to hear what the players are saying to each other probably as well, which would be very interesting to see who's actually got the mouth on the West Ham pitch, wouldn't it? That would be quite an interesting thing to see. And who are the quiet ones? Social distancing is here for a long time. I think you're right, could be well into next season before any fans will be let in, and it won't be capacity. Yeah. Like you say, 50,000 is a massive number. When you think, like snooker, for example, I think the Crucible holds about 5,000, the Crucible. Even that, 5,000 is a lot of people. The boxing arenas, you ain't going to see Anthony Joshua fighting at Wembley Stadium anytime soon, in front of like 90,000, 100,000 people. That is not going to happen anytime soon. You probably have, imagine it, Anthony Joshua will be fighting at York Hall. Mark Thomas said, I watched the Serie A game behind closed doors last month. So weird. It is. It's really, really strange. Really strange. That's the same as me. It was a Serie A game that I watched. And it's just the way, like they score a goal, they celebrate. It's just, that cheer, that's what makes football, the crowd make football. And I think crowd hypes the commentators as well. When a commentator feels the crowd and like a cauldron of noise, how it builds. Yeah, it's going to be very strange watching football, but definitely want it back. I need something. I need something to watch. It's a selfish thing for myself. I need something to watch. There's something to talk about. TV's so boring. I've watched a few things on Netflix. Sport is us, isn't it? That's what we talk about in work. It's what we talk about, and we think that our missus cares when we're talking about it. My dad was on the phone earlier, and he was saying about how much he misses it as well, sport. So it's a big thing of our lives, a huge part of our life. Do you think people are coming around to the idea of that though, just to get football back on TV? Yeah, I think so. I do buy into this thing of governments see it as a way of lifting people's morale. Sport is, I say, a big thing of most people's lives, and whatever it may be, football, tennis, boxing, snooker, rugby, anything, golf, whatever your taste is. We all enjoy watching it. And maybe some of that is what's needed. That maybe they believe that if lockdown is to continue, I don't know how long it's going to continue. Who knows? It's for the gods to decide. Maybe they believe, if it's to continue, then but people can watch something, it will help them around. Jill, don't think you realise how important football is until it's taken away. See, when it first got taken away, I was a bit like, oh God. So I was really looking forward to that Wolves game on the Sunday when it all got called off. And then for a few weeks, I've been like, do you know what? There's nothing to upset me or annoy me the week. And I was really getting nervous about going down. And I was all for the season being voided out of selfishness. Yeah, I would say the last week or so, you start reading about the Bundesliga coming back and stuff like that. You start, and even betting guys, to have a bet on an horse, a greyhound, couple of games and stuff like that. I was in bets on what was it? A Roost League where Lee went and lived for a year. And I was doing like American horses, just to add a little bit of excitement rather than I'm not a big gambler. Just for something like a little bit of sport to gamble on, a little bit of sport to be interested in. There's some logic in both ways. At some points I don't miss it, some points I do. Just think though, all those players away from their families for a long time and sharing quarters with each other. Yeah, mate, I'm totally with you there. You see what happens on the the World Cups and the Euros and that. The players go a bit nutty. England team are renowned for it. Get stuck in an hotel. They've done their training. They get bored. They go out on a lash and stuff like that. Obviously, they can't go out on a lash because pubs ain't open. It's a bit different. Yeah, like being away from your family, and then I know what I'm like with my daughter and my wife. My daughter's only 4. I'm working in a school, obviously going on the trains and stuff like that. In the back of your mind, there is a fear, of catching it and potentially, passing it on. My wife works in a hospital, and working around one of the most dangerous places to work in the country at the moment is in a hospital. So yeah, as a player, they've still got families, they've got wives, they've got mums, they've got dads. So yeah, it's a valid point, Mark. David Arthur says, do you think after this season finishes or gets cancelled, we would be looking for another striker? Yeah. It's a classic line, and it needs something different. Pace, some pace. Can't keep reverting back to Antonio. As good as he is at what he does, we can't keep reverting back to him. Haller is a good player in there. It was a great video. I think I posted it on Twitter actually. Where they go into depth of how West Ham could change and become a better club and stuff like that. And it's all about the scouting and, Haller being a fantastic player and was a fantastic player at Frankfurt, but it was more a case of we bought him because he's a good player than rather he suits the way we want to play and suits our system. So it's not so much him to a certain extent. It's that our scouting his system is so bad and we don't look at what suits us. Interesting watching behind closed doors games, like watching a training session listening to the coaches and players interacting. Morning, late to the party. What have I missed? Not much, mate. I did a nice little thank you to Hammers Chat for their nice little tribute they did for us on their 1000th show. Talked a little bit about games restarting, talked a bit about the Rangers guy being linked with us, talked about the new shirt potentially for next year, obviously 125th anniversary. So that's big news. Watched the virtual Grand National the other week, so did I. Came second and was a bit excitement at least. Helped the NHS through. Yeah, I think my one finished 5th, I think it was, mile one. But yeah, didn't win anything. So yeah, I'm sure there will be lots of players not wanting to go back to work. To be honest with you, I agree. I'm not sure it will work. One player or staff member tests positive, every chance people will call for it to be cancelled again. Yeah, the big sort of turning point was when like Arteta and that won it in the Arsenal game, and obviously David Moyes had to go into sort of a self-isolation, didn't he, at one point? So one player picks it up, and it could all start it again, and that's the last thing they want. They don't want it to start and then have to stop it again, because then if they stop it again, then that's it. Then that they would have to void the season. Then, in my opinion, and as harsh as it is, on teams like Liverpool, and not so much Liverpool because I'm not their biggest fan, but I'm thinking more of the Wolves and the Leicesters and the Sheffield Uniteds, that have had fantastic seasons, and see Football Focus yesterday, Connor Cody, the Wolves midfielder, saying about seasons like this don't come along often, where you've had a really good season and, they've got a genuine chance of Champions League, they're well going in the Europa League. So it would be heartbreaking for them. I know as a West Ham fan, if we were as good as what Wolves were this year, it was, we're just going to void it and take that all away. It must be quite hard to take as a player. You either break you down or motivate you even more going into the next season. Will everyone be watching the German league when it starts? Yeah, some good players in there. I like that new boy that's sort of been floating around at Harvard. He's a good player. Obviously, Haaland, what a player. What a player. I hope we get to see him in the Prem soon, because he's a top player. That Haaland, massive talent. Massive talent. Mark says he will be. Are they going to take their camping gear to St George's Park? Can you imagine it? Can you imagine? Anything else, guys? Anything else you guys have seen? Obviously, the Dutch league has, more or less been cancelled. I don't know what's going to happen with Scotland and things like that. But with it starting, some valid points have been made about, what precedent it sets, for the national leagues and things like that being cancelled, and all grassroots levels being cancelled. Now, there's a lot less people there, and they need the money more than the Premier League, in terms of getting their games done. So yeah, it's interesting stuff. Interesting stuff, should I say? What's next? Absolutely, Richie. Right. Unless much else comes in the next couple of minutes, I think I'll leave it there, guys. I don't just want to ramble for the sake of rambling. If you are a snooker fan, there's another great classic match on later. O'Sullivan versus Stephen Hendry. They're playing the classic matches. It's quite interesting. That Sports Relief was quite funny. Was it Sport Relief, Comic Relief, Big Night In, or whatever it was called? That was quite funny. Some of the stuff on there. Fan of like Catherine Tate. She's a very funny woman. But yeah, it's just started watching Afterlife again. Afterlife was all right. The second series, that was quite interesting. But apart from that, I've just been trying to get better at FIFA, which is hard for me. I'm what have I been? I've been playing FIFA since FIFA 97. So I'm a 23-year vet now. FIFA. I'm still no good at it. So 23 years I've been playing that game. It's craziness, isn't it? Absolute craziness. So, it's time to hang up my boots. I think maybe I'll get a testimonial. Will any football in Germany in May? Utter madness. Did you see West Ham live video last Friday? I caught bits and bobs of it. Was there anything massive that I missed? I float in and out of videos, so I might watch like half an hour, then go back and watch half an hour. But yeah, I didn't watch the whole of it. But if there was anything I missed, let me know. Would you rather our league be cancelled or play behind closed doors? Listen, I'm still with the mindset of void the league purely out of selfishness of West Ham not going down. We all want to see some football, and I can't wait to see West Ham play again. But if you said to me right now, and I'll put this question to all of you guys in the chat, if that question's posted to you right now, and you can have all the bias in the world, they said we void the season and West Ham stay up and they plan the Premier League next year, what would you guys pick? Because I know what I pick. I pick that it's voided and West Ham stay up. Nice one, Luke. Been a pleasure. Keep safe always. I'm going to go a little bit longer because it seems like the chats have kicked off again a little bit. Gonzo and Gio play like West Ham players on FIFA. Yeah, I've watched some of their games. Very funny. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I'll win with West Ham on FIFA most of the time. If only it was real life. Oh, tell me about it, mate. Would you rather be in the Premier League in the Olympic Stadium or League going up to? Oh, such a hard question. Obviously, we would love to be back at Upton Park, but your Premier League is your bread and butter, mate. You know, that's where the big money is. That's where your big players are. You know, I understand the argument. You know, I love Upton Park, and I'm not an Olympic Stadium fan at all. Another part of the reason I don't really go much anymore purely is because I don't enjoy the day. I don't enjoy the experience of the Olympic Stadium. You know, you can't deny the Premier League. You know, some of the players we've seen over the years against us as well, not just for us. You know, seeing your Thierry Henrys, your Ronaldos, your Bergkamps, Cantona's I've seen over there, Beckham's, Gerrard's, Fernando Torres when he was at Liverpool was just a sensational player. Tevez, you know, you can't put a price on that. You know, seeing that top level football. I get the idea, you know, you get your identity back probably if you go down that low. You know, you start getting rid of the tourist fans. You know, you can build that thing of players that actually want to play for you when you're at that level. For me, you can't put a price on being in the Premier League, mate. Void. If you had to sell one first team player, if we need money, who would you sell? Definitely not Rice. No, Rice. Rice, we can potentially hold on for another 2 years, I think, and then get a real big value for him. I was again, it's very selfish, but I'm quite glad the Euros was cancelled because I had a big fear. You know, he would go to the Euros on an absolute worldie of a tournament. We'd be forced to sell a bit like the Payet situation. You know, he had an absolute worldie of a Euros, and he went. You know, he went in the January, and that was my fear that the pressure would have built up too much with him. Yeah, I'm in the Anderson boat. I noticed a lot of you are putting Anderson in the chat there. Lanzini, if you can get a decent price for him. Listen, I like Lanzini, but he shot as a player for me. He's not on that level anymore. Yeah, maybe Anderson. I think there's arguments, you know, if you want to raise some money, you have to sell a couple. You'd be looking to get your Masuaku's out the doors, things like that. But yeah, I'm with you with the Anderson, but I do like Anderson. That's not me disliking him. Newcastle fan here waiting years for Fatty to clear off, so more months of hurt won't matter. Yeah, I work with a Newcastle fan. You know, he's allowing himself to get a little bit excited. As always with you guys, you're always very pessimistic until that which signed and dotted. You know, I wish you all the luck, and I hope you, you know, I hope your takeover does go through. Nice to see some different clubs competing as well, Mark. I have to say, Anderson. We can still make the stadium feel like our proper home. Just needs to be owners of it outright. Yeah, I agree. Ben says sell Haller. Bonnie says the Olympic Stadium deal was so cheap it could not be turned down. Yeah, and we all bought into it. Do you know what I mean? We're all guilty. It's a classic line of the West Ham community. You know, we all bought into that video. Yeah, we're going to have a world-class team for a world-class stadium. I think Gonzo's impression of Ray Winston's a bit better than mine, but you know, we all bought into that. Finally, we're going to reach the top. You know, we all bought into Raymond's voice. When Ray talks, you listen. You know, that's what Ryan Archer said. Ryan from West Ham Fan TV when he appeared on the podcast a couple of weeks back. You know, when Ray speaks, you listen. And we certainly did listen, didn't we? And we was all bought into it. It's not Raymond's fault, you know. It's the Bulls' fault for us believing that. Instead of Moyes trying to use the Red Bull model, we should choose the Chelsea being banned from buying players model and play more young players. Yeah, this was asked last week. I think someone touched on this about the Chelsea players. There is an argument for that, and we have got some good players. There's Holland, there's Diagana, there's obviously Rice. He's still a young player. There's Ngakia, there's Johnson. Good players. Are they the level of what Chelsea's youth players are? Abrahams, Mason Mounts, Tomori's, Reece James. That's for us to learn. Whether they are as good as that. We have had batches of youngsters that are more than good and better than that in the past, and only time can tell whether they will be that good. But yeah, there is some logic in that. My argument is are they as good as the Chelsea youngsters that have come through this year? Very few clubs will have any money to spend signings. No point selling Anderson on cheap. Yes, if we were winning most weeks, maybe it would feel more like home. I agree with that as well. When we was winning, I had a season ticket for a couple of years at the Olympic Stadium. When we're winning, the place is brilliant. The Tottenham game, when we stopped them, Lanzini scored in a Friday night game, first season there. Brilliant. If the stadium was like that, absolutely rocking. And I've been there, a few times where the stadium is amazing. But there's still faults there. But and I'm well behind the Hammers Chat stuff. They're making some big noises. They sent out an email actually earlier this week, didn't they, about we'll be going again and what a protest will look like. They don't know, obviously, because of the lockdown rules and stuff like that in a minute and social distancing. But that pressure won't go away for them to make changes. David says, nice one, Ray. I tried my best. I like Ray Winston as well. He's a bit of a legend. Chelsea youth team is much better than ours. It is. My boss at work is actually an academy scout for Chelsea. And he constantly talks about, players and some of the players he's seen and, just the setup and the way it's run and stuff like that. And they have a bigger talent pool to choose from. Like if you was, I'm trying to say if you was to compare Mount to, I don't know, how many of the youth players that we push through go into the Chelsea team compared to how many of those youth players that are currently playing for Chelsea go into our team? For me, nearly all of them. Tammy plays for us. Mount 100% plays for us. More probably gets in next to Diop or Bonner. Reece James definitely plays. So again, it's that, isn't it? I'm not slating our youngsters at all, and and I'm not saying they've played bad because they haven't. And Ngakia's played fantastic. Johnson, a couple of times I've seen him. Rice is obviously one of the best youth players in the league. Diagana's doing some wonderful stuff in the Championship. So yeah, they've got to be given a chance, but it does take time. The transfer market will be interesting after this. Clubs seeing what the others are doing, lower cost. I mean, for so many clubs putting stuff on further or making them redundant. It is, mate. It really is unprecedented, unspoke of. It's a very, very strange time, and God knows, how long we're going to be feeling the effects of this. Months and months, or as someone said about 20 minutes ago, maybe even 2 years on in the football world. Most of our youth team is better than some of our first team. And there's that argument as well, Richie. Yeah, how many of them are better than what we've actually got there? Ngakia is definitely better than Fredericks from what we've seen so far. You could argue he's not as good as Zabaleta, but Zabaleta's an old man now. Zabaleta's an old man now. Hello guys. Sorry, internet just went down there, and my daughter wanted something. So back to that question. Ngakia definitely good enough for the right back situation. Ghana probably would have had a better season. What Anderson has had this year. I know it's all ifs and buts and hindsight, but yeah, there's definitely arguments there. Cheers. Loads of youth players at West Ham look great, but foul at the senior level. Yeah, but again, valid point. But I look at the Allardyce era. He destroyed a lot of youth players in that era. And the trust and things like that. Do you think, if Allardyce was there now, I think Allardyce would have played Declan? Do you think he would have stuck with Declan? After Declan made that mistake at St James's Park with a pass back, I think it was his second or third game, I think Allardyce would have just completely destroyed the geezer. You look at Reece Oxford, Reece Oxford should be playing centre-back for West Ham. If he was mentally better, he should have been a big centre-half for us. It's player can be fantastic as well, right up to that senior level point, and then it's how they deal with that, making it. I think Declan's. We're West Ham fans. I think Declan's mental side is top drawer. There's nothing there, that screams of time Charlie. That he's made it. The performance levels are unbelievable nearly every week. I think it's whether a player can deal with that mentally, and that is the difference of whether you make it or you don't make it. Hi guys, just tuned in from West Australia. Have I missed much? Hope you're safe. Not much, mate. We've talked a lot about West Ham, and it's a lot about the lockdown and how things are progressing and stuff. Nice to have you in though, mate. Martinez looked like a world beater at under 23. Look, he did, didn't he? And I was one of the ones calling for him to go in. Like, why is he not playing him? Why is he not playing him? And then Julian Dix, I think he did an interview after he went, just after him and Slav sacked, saying that he could bang him in for under 23s, but if he was to be put in the first team. Another one you look at, Elliot Lee, absolutely banging him in, weren't he, for under 23s? Didn't make it. Did he look very lightweight when he actually got into the team? I think even like further back, Freddie Sears, he scored on his debut. Now I remember I think it was at Goodison Park, his second game, he hit the post, and I always think and look back at that game and go, that would have went in. He was 2-2. I think he would have been a different player for us. I think he would have played more games for us. I think hitting the post in that second game was like not used to this. I'm used to banging in goals for fun, because he was flying, wasn't he? Absolute flying player. From next week, we are allowed to go out to the beach and have walks here in Spain. Yeah, I noticed on the news today, children were allowed out for the first time in 6 weeks. Under 23s football is not good. Definitely younger players have the hunger and want to play for the badge. I agree with you, mate. Grealish or Maddison? Who would you choose? Personally, I prefer Jack. I do love Maddison. Maddison's such an elegant, graceful player. Got a lovely pass. Jack is fantastic. He's got that not as good as, but he's got that azure about him. Just like he plays like he's playing over the park. And I love the low socks. Just the question marks with Jack for me, and I'm not saying I would turn Jack down. I would let Jack go straight into our West Ham team. The question mark I would have with Jack is, can he do it in a team that's not Aston Villa? When he moves eventually, be interesting to see, wherever he ends up, whether he's still as influential. I'm not saying he won't be. That will prove to me whether he is top draw. Like at Villa, he's unbelievable footballer. It's exciting to watch, technically very gifted. But yeah, when he moves away, that's when we'll see how good he is. But at the moment, if I had to pick, for me, it'd be James Maddison, just at the moment. But that doesn't mean I don't like Jack Grealish. I like Jack Grealish. Is West Ham a Category 1 academy? I would assume the likes of Chelsea, Tottenham, and Arsenal would be. I don't know, mate. I have to do some research on that. You know, we've created a few good players over the years, like before Declan, obviously Jack Collinson, Hopkins, and people like that. Been, you know, they're good servants, did a good job for us. I don't know that answer to that question, mate. I do apologise. Spot on, Re, the mental side. Rice is a very good player. He's mentally tough. Morrison and Oxford have more ability. You need more than ability to be a top pro. It is, mate. I've been listening to it. It's very, like, some people really like listening to him. Some people don't. I've been listening to a lot of Ant Middleton, the SAS guy. I've been listening to a lot of his podcasts about mindset and things like that. Well, I'm a PE teacher. It's a good thing to learn about, you know, in terms of, you know, how to get the best out of people and how to get the best out of yourself. You know, it's, if you don't believe and you don't have the right work ethic, you're not going to get there. You know, someone like Ronaldo and Messi, they've got the talent, but, you know, they've got the mindset and the ruthlessness, you know, to know that they have to, you know, even with all that talent, they have to have the mindset, they have to have the application right, they have to have everything right to reach the levels that they've reached. Like you say there, the players you've picked out there, Morrison, Oxford, fantastic players. Morrison's one of the best players I've seen at West Ham. He's wonderful, wonderful player. He just, you know, mentally thought he had made it. We've seen it so many times. Nani, Manchester United, you know, when he first burst on the scene, I thought, hey, yeah, this geezer's like another new Ronaldo, you know. He's got the tricks, he's got the flicks, he can score goals. Yeah, just not the right mental side. David says he has to go now. Hopes my family is safe. They are, mate. Thank you very much. Well said regarding Declan Rice. He's still learning, but at such a young age, he is future West Ham captain if we can keep him long enough. Yeah, I agree, mate. You know, fans of old, you know, the old boys saying, you know, there's a Bobby Moore-esque about him and the way he presents himself as a person and stuff like that. You know, I'd like to see him as captain potentially sort of towards the end of next year. You would assume that it's Mark Noble's last year next year, wouldn't you? You would assume that, you know, he's not going to play much more than a year or two now. I think I'll leave it there, guys. I usually go on for 45 minutes, and it's just hit 45 minutes there in 3, 2, that's 45 minutes. Yeah, great talking to you guys as always, guys. Again, in case I missed it at the beginning, big congratulations to Hammer's Chat on it and their 1,000th video. Massive, massive thank you for, you know, the lovely words they said about myself from Gonzo and Gio. Yeah, hit that subscribe button, guys, if you haven't already. Check out some of our videos. I'll be back next week with another one of these. Hopefully some more news about West Ham. It's great catching up with you guys. That's the most important thing. Just talking to you, talking to someone different. I know I can't see your faces. I'm just trying to pretend I can see your faces. Go a bit nutty. Until then, guys, come on, you irons. Keep believing. I'll end it with Ray Winston. Let's go.